In the year 2071, Moscow serves as the setting for the film. The surroundings show how the Earth has suffered significantly as a result of the intergalactic conflict that Cherno, an evil scientist with aspirations of destroying the universe, has helped to fuel. His experiments have been turned into weapons that endanger lives, making him the most dangerous prisoner. The human race, also referred to as Earthlings, continues to struggle to meet their basic needs and endure hardships 20 years after the war. A mysterious figure working in the shadows purposefully causes a metal pole to fall on a young male Earthling named Anton as he waits in a long line of humans to replenish his water supply. Despite causing a commotion in the area, Anton is able to avoid the falling pole. The people in line look at him in shock and accuse him of being cursed with bad luck since they find it annoying that he keeps getting into accidents. While this is happening, the unidentified person, who is actually Cherno's daughter Valaya, reports to her father in his enormous spacecraft turned prison. Cherno is irritated by Valaya's repeated failures to activate Anton's DNA. The protogene, a collection of distinct cells that is his most recent creation, is set to expire. It is revealed that Anton's DNA contains the final protogene, which holds the only key to his release. As a result, Valaya feels tremendous pressure from Cherno to continue hunting out Anton and finally put an end to his life. While Cherno's prison is located deep within the Earth. Within the metropolis, a second enormous spaceship is hovering directly over it. This spaceship is presented as a stadium in the form of a dandelion that hosts the dangerous flying sport known as Cosmoball. Intergalactic teams of 4 players must kick the Wave Eater energy ball 5 times in order to earn a point and open their opponent's goal in this sport. The Team Earthlings is made up of 3 talented humans named Fan, Natasha, and Pele who, despite being outnumbered, all expertly break the opponent's goal open. The game is the most popular form of entertainment for humans, and it is broadcast everywhere above the Earth's atmosphere on enormous holographic screens. Anton, on the other hand, is angry about how the Cosmoball affects people. He criticizes them for becoming overly engaged in a game when there are many greater things to concentrate on, like finding work and addressing hunger. Back in the stadium, both the Earthlings and their present adversaries, the Sarusians, are successful in gaining access to their respective goal areas. The Sarusians go ahead of the Earthlings by 1 goal thanks to a goal from their star player Stan. In actuality, Cherno is the inventor of the Wave Eater. Cherno successfully thwarts the transfer of another Wave Eater to the field of play and instead throws the Wave Eater in the direction of the machines. A handful of the machines crash to pieces, badly hurting the guards. Bello, the head of the Galactic Cosmoball League, is compelled by this to momentarily. The game should be stopped while the players are informed of the abrupt technical issue. As soon as the ball touches the field, the guards recover control of the Wave Eater, and play continues. Even though it's a draw, it's the first time ever the Earthlings have triumphantly advanced to the finals, drawing a thunderous ovation from the human spectators inside and outside the stadium. Cherno, on the other hand, screams in agony as he witnesses his creation decomposing into rock lumps. As night falls, Anton returns home to a sick mother. He learns that his mother has been acting fine while lying about her medical supplies. Anton flies to the drugstore, where he comes across Anya, a young woman. To steal some food and medical supplies, the two of them break into the drugstore, but the alarm quickly attracts the police's attention. Captain Vasily and 2 other police officers pursue them. While Anya hides, Anton poses as a lone surrender to the police and diverts their attention. By diverting their attention, he is able to make a gap and escape. Anton screams in fear as he crashes into a speeding car at that precise moment. When Vasily checks the truck's front, he only discovers the stolen medication spilled across the floor. As they depart in disarray, Valaya, who has successfully passed herself off as the truck's driver, beams contentedly. Anya is later revealed to be Valaya, who has been following Anton all along. As he teleports wildly a few kilometers from his former location, Anton's sphere has for the first time activated the protogene and his teleportation ability. Valaya poses as Anya and invite Anton to her basement using their shared hate of Cosmoball and desire to assist their ailing parents as examples of their similar interests. Anton pays close attention, not understanding why Anya is taking a few hair strands from him to extract a protogene from his DNA. Anya gives her father the hair fragments. However, due to the insufficient amount, the protogene barely reacts. Meanwhile, when Anton returns home, he is shocked to see Bello and the Earthlings team there. Bello affirms Anton's teleportation skills and displays interest in adding him as the Team Earthlings' fourth player. Anton politely rejects, stating that he dislikes Cosmoball and that he must tend to his sick mother. In order to get his favor, Natasha steps in and demands that she discover a treatment for his ill mother. She persuades Anton and Bello, and they shake hands to complete the transaction. Anton is immediately taken to the stadium ship, where he is in awe of everything. In order to create his own Sputnik, a droid, Bello extracts a sample of Anton's genetic DNA during his examination. That will be his companion and equipment during the competition. Each member of Team Earthling has a Sputnik that is customized for their unique body type. Although he first has a little trouble, Anton quickly masters the use of his teleportation powers. He becomes accustomed to his powers soon enough for Bello and the Earthlings on the crew to watch a situation they had never seen before. Bello, who is really considering something, tells Anton to play the first 2 games the next day before continuing his training. Bello then departs with Natasha to meet with the Galactic Council and discuss Anton's mother's potential treatment. The council expresses disdain at the idea of aiding Anton and his mother's cosmic infection, but Bello strongly insists on upholding the agreement. After witnessing Anton's performance on the first day of training, he believes that Anton is the most talented athlete. Natasha spends time with Anton and shows him her affection at every opportunity, which frequently confuses Anton. On a different note, Valaya, who has shapeshifted as Anya, her secret identity, catches Anton's attention. The same distaste for Cosmoball and desire to treat her father's illness. By delivering Anton a deadly pod that might perhaps destroy the stadium ship and put an end to Cosmoball forever, she takes advantage of Anton. Natasha and Anton's Sputnik show up on the scene to retrieve him. Before they depart, Anya kisses Anton on the lips and places the pod in his palm as Anton's Sputnik curiously looks at Anya. Anton becomes more and more interested in his Sputnik as they return to the stadium ship. Natasha explains to him that depending on the likelihood of danger, Sputniks may or may not activate battle mode and alert their owners to prospective dangers. The following day, Cosmoball is played again. Despite having gone undetected after going through examination. To prepare for the game, the Earthlings team links up with their Sputniks. The toxic pod, which Anton is gingerly holding in his palm, becomes lodged under his glove. While talking on his Sputnik, Anton takes off his glove. The sap from the toxic pod spreads across the stadium floor ships as Anton squeezes it with his hand. Following Anya's instructions, Anton casually exits and enters the waiting room. Anton finds himself surrounded by a sizable crowd of cheering spectators as the competitors step onto the playing field. Vasily's mother is watching the game with him at home, looking better than ever thanks to the constant medication. The players soon take their positions and begin the game. On the other hand, Anton sits on the ground and ignores the entire game, causing the audience to call him a quitter. Bello interrupts the game to call Anton, hoping to reason with him. He demonstrates to Anton the stadium whole ship's equipment and explains why Cosmoball is more than just a game. He discusses the conflict, Cherno, the Wave Eater, and his most recent creation, the Protogene, with Anton. He concludes by telling Anton that he may give his fellow Earthlings hope despite their current circumstances by being an athlete. When Anton finally understands the consequences of his actions, he rushes back to get the lethal pod he dropped, only to discover that it has already seeped into a section of the ship's stadium. He returns to the field of play and cries out that the stadium has been infected, but as the game progresses, to no avail. Thankfully, Bello sees him and responds promptly by quickly freezing the afflicted area. The stadium ship enters emergency evacuation mode in order to safeguard the spectators as the poison spreads further. The Wave Eater rushes in her way, and Natasha comes to release the trapped audience that is still within. Before the athletes kick the Wave Eater 5 times and cause it to crash to the ground, Anton notices this and rushes to her rescue. He is struck by the Wave Eater, which causes him to lose consciousness, but he soon regains awareness. When Anton approaches Anya in her basement, she stuns him by revealing her true identity as Valaya and confessing to him as soon as their eyes make contact. I have admiration for him. Nevertheless, she is angry with him for not totally destroying the stadium ship and starts to accumulate a little amount of protogene in his DNA before knocking him out. When Anton's Sputnik senses danger, it scrambles to find him. His Sputnik communicates with him after discovering him unconscious and uses all of its remaining energy to treat Anton's wound. Cherno purchases the protogene from Valaya at the same moment, starting his escape strategy. Cherno summons another of his inventions, a massive monster that resembles a puppy, through the protogene. In order to have complete control, he ties himself to the monster and utilizes it as a spaceship. He can teleport himself out of the situation thanks to the protogene he is in possession of. Anton eventually awakes. Up and notices Natasha and Bello standing next to him. Bello hears Cherno calling his name from somewhere in the same basement. Bello is addressed by Cherno as his inventor, and he extends an invitation to cooperate. Natasha hears this and is perplexed. She directly questions him, but Bello brushes her off. They all meet outside and briefly run into Cherno as he successfully teleports away of planet Earth along with the Cerusians and Amazonians. Bello notifies the Galactic Council while the athletes remain on guard across the city. He also lets everyone know the closely kept Cosmoball secret. They discover that Cosmoball is not a game but a war and that the stadium ship was constructed to stop the planet from being destroyed. Resuming his. When Anton's mother arrives at his house to inform him that the athletes are departing for the battle against Cherno, he lies down exhausted and discouraged by the events taking place all around him while still hugging his Sputnik. Turning to console him, his mother says that while mistakes are common on Earth, there are also strong people who work hard to correct them. Natasha appears unexpectedly as Bello is in the middle of another discussion regarding the Galactic Council's strategy with them. What Natasha heard continues to trouble her. Bello is asked repeatedly by the woman why Cherno referred to him as his creator. Bello is forced to explain to her that Cherno represents his worst failure as a scientific colleague. He claims that Cherno was created in his image. He acknowledges his errors in the hopes that Cherno would help him, much as the Sputniks do. Though he gave him feelings, he was unable to mold them. The conflict between Bello and Cherno resulted in Cherno's exile and the events of the Cosmic War 20 years prior. Cherno is getting ready to launch his freshly developed Wave Eaters from his ship outside the planet Earth. When he and Valaya reunite, he gives her instructions to do all in her power to keep the athletes from leaving the planet. The massive conflict starts right after Cherno dispatches a series of Wave Eaters to the Earth's surface. Fan, Pele, and the Cerusians members were all present at the same moment. And in anticipation, Amazonians dispersed out in various locations outside the city. To finish the 5 strikes, they continue to kick the approaching Wave Eaters and fling it in each other's direction. Under Bello's direction, the galactic fleet ships outside set up a trap for Cherno and his spacecraft. Bello and Natasha watch in agony while Cherno, on the other hand, neutralizes the trap and destroys the spacecraft by himself. On Cherno, they carry on their quest using the stadium ship. The athletes start to feel exhausted as they are destroying the Wave Eaters. Fan is hurt after being struck by the Wave Eater, and Stan is on the edge of overheating. However, they continue on. The force of their quick attacks causes some structures to collapse in specific city regions. That's when Anton startlingly stands up and observes what's happening. He creates a complete connection with his Sputnik by speaking to it earnestly. Later, Anton names his Sputnik by the name Moblai, which causes it to finally wake up. Anton departs to help Fan and Pele. He uses their fellow Earthlings to assist him get injured Fan to safety. The citizens of Moscow seek refuge from the falling debris, including Anton's mother and Vasily, who have grown romantically involved after spending a number of times together. 2 wave eaters in a row are flying overhead and heading straight for Anton. He succeeds in hitting the first one, but misses the second one, which pulls him down toward the floor. He lands without incident, but his clothes are torn. Mowgli, his Sputnik, recognizes the predicament and rushes to his rescue. They joyfully patch things up and link, making Anton's armor. With Mowgli in war mode and Anton now able to communicate with the other athletes, he starts to attack once more with all of his might. He impresses the other athletes by effectively taking down each wave eater with just one strike. Bello, on the other hand, makes the decision to take Cherno head-on. In case he does not return alive, he gives Natasha complete command of the ship stadium and instructs her to return to Earth and save the others. In agreement, Natasha teleports with. They arrive at Cherno's ship to finally confront Bello there. Bello subsequently reveals his actual self when he confronts Cherno. A little while later, they bridge the 20-year gap, and then their war begins. Cherno sneakily attacks Bello, but they are swiftly alerted. Natasha teleports directly in front of Cherno in reaction and prepares to kick him, but Valaya stops her. Natasha teleports away after avoiding Valaya's strike. But Valaya quickly grabs her and renders her unconscious. Bello is forcefully charged by Cherno, who is chuffed that despite being his creation, Bello has grown much stronger than him. While Mowgli and Anton successfully teleport to the Earth's moon, they observe the moon's deplorable condition. When Mowgli detects a threat nearby, his alarm goes off. They immediately move in that direction while contemplating Natasha and Bello. Bello irritates Cherno within the ship when he launches ice ball strikes towards his protogenes. Cherno constructs a large shield to safeguard his creation from Bello's relentless assault. Bello sneaks up an ice ball just above the shield, striking Cherno square in the face. Cherno's entire body is frozen as the ice encircles him. Valaya assumes Natasha's appearance and stuns Bello when his relentless strikes cause the shield to fail and nearly freeze Cherno's whole generation of protogenes. Currently, Valaya has the upper hand, rendering Bello and Natasha helpless before she melts the ice that has been encasing Cherno. Cherno escapes and suffocates Bello with the help of his stretchy clothing. He says his goodbyes and is going to murder him, but Anton stops him. Arrive on schedule. Cherno is forced to loosen his grasp on Bello when Anton holds her prisoner as a form of resistance. Cherno approaches Anton and confronts him, acting as if he will never be able to murder Valaya. He stabs Valaya in the abdomen while saying that she was never a perfect creation. Anton is pushed hard into the ship's lining by Cherno's blade, trapping him there and preventing him from teleporting. By releasing a bead of ice in an effort to reduce the ship's power, Bello just about succeeds to divert Cherno. Then the villainous Cherno points his improvised spear at Bello, killing him instantaneously. Through their common cells, Anton seizes the opportunity to communicate with the spacecraft itself. When he encounters the puppy thing, it aggressively follows him. Anton decides to stop as he approaches the door and turn his attention to the creature. The wild animal is startled, and its limbs completely stop moving in front of the human. After a brief moment of equal look, Anton strongly condemns the monster for its threatening actions. Before it recognizes their link, it roars back at him in response. Anton continues to push and gently touches the creature's head to calm it. Soon enough, he is able to build a relationship of trust with the creature and escape the ship's liner. Additionally, the creature develops a love for Anton, which finally causes its link to Cherno to be severed. Cherno attempts to fight off and declares himself to be the master, but the creature has stopped paying attention to him. He is brutally thrown out of the spacecraft and onto a huge ball of hot gas, where he melts to death. After being freed from the trap, Natasha regains control of her body. Together, they teleport back to Earth as Anton teleports back to her. The inhabitants of Earth are sick of hiding. They band together to fight for humanity as they grow determined to survive. They go into position under Vasily's direction, prepared to combat the wave eaters that will soon approach them, but all of a sudden they all stop and remain in place as Cherno is defeated. The citizens of Moscow cheer loudly as they declare victory. Eventually, the city is brought into better shape under Natasha's direction. The remaining Wave Eater's energy has been captured and used to improve and restore Earth's way of life. She highlights throughout her address that now is the time for people on Earth to thrive, not merely survive. All throughout the world, people are watching it and appreciating Bellows' sacrifice. After Natasha's speech, the Team Earthlings, including Anton's mother, his new stepdad Vasily, Mobleye, and the creature he has come to refer to as Kid, reunite. And the movie end. Here, if you like it, drop a comment and like and subscribe.